So that's a little hard to follow with the humanity. But I'm Tom Buckley, and I'm working with the city of Mesa, Arizona, with my partners Peter and Wendy, who are out there in the audience. And we're also working with Arizona State University. Mesa is a part of the metropolitan area of Phoenix, and we're like a lot of the other groups in this block here. We're talking about basically how to better connect residents with their local government. So let's talk about Mesa. Let's start with Mesa. Mesa makes up basically the bottom quarter block of this image here, and this is an image of built-up area of the Phoenix area in 1972, and it has changed pretty rapidly in the past 40 years. The population has grown, and Mesa has grown tenfold, from about 30,000 to about 450,000 now. That population is also a quarter Hispanic, most of whom speak Spanish at home, a quarter Mormon, and about a quarter of the houses are either vacant or mobile. So you have a disparate set of population and some interesting physical characteristics. And that creates kind of a challenge for the government in terms of getting feedback and having places where they can kind of find a cross-section of the community having a discussion. So we often heard from council members that also that they heard this a sort of a common problem you hear among cities is you hear from a small vocal minority, but you don't hear from a large majority of people for whom things are fine. They commute to work and they come back and they don't have time to go to public meetings. So we've seen the internet can kind of help in this situation in terms of lowering the cost of contributing to the discussion about relevant issues. And sometimes this results in kind of surprising communication channels that the government might not expect. A recent example in Mesa, which our city partner Ian Linson, who I hope is listening, hi Ian, if you are, is a sort of contentious discussion about renaming a park after a slain police officer, renaming a historic park, was resolved online through a change.org petition. What the promise of this is that that there are channels on the internet for people that have these kinds of discussions, and we think there's a lot of promise in looking at all these channels and making sure that the government can effectively use them or get feedback from them. So let's talk about the challenges for the government in this space and for the community in terms of using them. First of all, how do we facilitate the kinds of interactions that happen in these online spaces, and how do we connect across the online spaces so that the feedback that people give in one channel actually goes back into what the government is using for their formal feedback system? And how do we get residents to talk to government and not just in a particular channel that they're most comfortable in? So we took a look at just kind of where matters are discussed right now in Mesa. This is a screenshot of an application that the city uses to talk about, for example, here they're talking about a Main Street rehabilitation project and improvement of the streetscape. Here's where residents talk about something like that. Here we have a resident tweeting about how they might reimagine that particular streetscape or what they think about that particular streetscape. So what we'd like to do is to kind of connect the dots between those two conversations and hopefully allow the resident that has a valid opinion but maybe not the time to engage and understand what the business of government looks like through this kind of complicated government website, allow them to engage in that discussion and give valuable feedback that the government wants about projects like this. So 2012 fellow Ben Sheldon said that go to the people, and we're hoping that our application kind of falls within this vein, similar to change.org and many other applications out there, where we're going out to the spaces in which people are comfortable talking and trying to make those part of the formal process of discussion. So our application, a prototype of it is you are here, and basically the idea is that the resident can enter in their address and get back, first of all, their council member and a kind of personalized view of who that council member is through their tweets and Facebook and any other channels that they might use. And in addition to that, allow them to communicate back to that council member about legislation that is relevant to them, local to their address, before that legislation goes up for a vote. So our goals are to get more people talking to the government through channels that they're comfortable with. If you want to help us, we'll have a demo table in the back, and please come back and talk to us. Thank you.